Coming up next on Her Business Playbook.
You need to be deliberate and intentional. So a brand positioning and a brand identity doesn't just happen. And so taking the time to do research on whatever level you can do. It might be just you doing it, right?
Yeah.
Doing some listening sessions with your associates or with your customers and some key questions. You can go on the web and get key questions about identifying your brand.
Yeah.
And then taking the time to process that and what it means. Because more than anything, I think when you have your own company, you have your own vision of what you think it is.
Her Business Playbook is presented in partnership with the Columbus Chamber of Commerce. Hi team, I'm Takesha Shepherd-Jones with the Her Business Playbook, and today's guest is a true game changer in healthcare marketing and community reputation, Sue Jablonski. She is the recently retired Chief Marketing Officer for OhioHealth, which is one of the country's leading not-for-profit healthcare systems serving local communities through a network of hospitals, physicians' offices, and care sites and practices. Sue spent her career helping shape one of the country's most trusted healthcare systems, showing up for patients, families, physicians, and employees every day. She led their brand strategy, communications, and marketing in an industry where trust isn't just a tagline, it is truly everything. Welcome, Sue.
Thank you, Takesha. I'm happy to be here.
Oh, thank you. Me too. I've been so looking forward to this conversation. This is going to be a true masterclass.
I hope so. No pressure, right?
No pressure,
Okay.
but you are certainly up for the challenge,
Yes.
right? So let's jump right in.
Okay.
Because I have a lot of questions for you. Let's go back to your early years. What brand do you recall making a big impression on you as a girl, and why?
So I would use the same one, which is probably a little predictable, but making an impression on me as a girl, and then as I became a marketing professional, it was Disney. Because strong brands not only deliver, it's how they make you feel. And every time our family would go to Disney, we didn't go a lot, but a couple times, I mean, it's happy, right? And then when I got through, through college and working, all kinds of case studies. And everybody's happy and everybody wants to serve.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I just left from Orlando.
Oh, did you?
And it's just such a big part of that region. And you're absolutely right. And talk about an iconic.
Oh, my gosh. That has weathered some storms and also created some brand extensions. When you think about it, it's not just the parks, it's the movies and all of that. So, they stand for family entertainment no matter what the venue.
Oh, couldn't agree more. Now, when you hear the word brand in healthcare, what does it truly mean beyond things like logos and color palettes? We were just chuckling about that, but provide your perspective on what a brand really is.
Well, I'll tell you, one of my colleagues said that he thinks he knows what's going to be on my tombstone. And the description is going to be, brand is not a logo. Brand is all about a promise. It's the emotional and the rational reasons to believe, and it's how you connect to people and how you build a relationship.
It is about that connection, right?
We've often talked at OhioHealth and other places, you have to have a business strategy. So think of a circle. The business strategy leads to the brand strategy, which leads to the brand identity. That's the logo stuff.
Really great way to put it. Now, how do you define personal brand? I know that this is a big passion for you, not just business branding, but personal branding, especially if you could talk about how important it is while working in a mission-driven organization.
So I think you have to understand your personal brand to make sure you connect to your work brand, right? Depending on what your mission, vision, and values are. There are a lot of people who are drawn to healthcare because it's mission driven. And when you think about brand, again, I just said there's the rational reason to believe in a brand and then the emotional. And when I talk about personal branding, but it also applies to brand overall, think of a cupcake. The rational reason to believe you're going to deliver on your promise, that's the cake part. The frosting is the emotional, the icing. It's how you make me feel. And so those both have to be there. And then the other key on branding for both personal and organizations are, what's your differentiation? I got a dozen eggs in a carton. How do I stand out? How am I going to be different than the other person and make an impression and deliver on my promise?
Love the analogy. Love
It's a
some
good visual.
good cake, as you know. But it is so right. You hit the nail on the head. And I don't think a lot of people understand what brand is. You hear the word a lot. You're a brand, I'm a brand, we're all a brand. But that's a really great analogy that simplifies what it's all about.
And I really think that today it's even more important in the competitive job market. And so how are you going to stand out from an employer? What are they going to remember about you? And what are you going to deliver that's different? There are a number of exercises and some really good books on it. And there's a great quote from Tom Peters. I don't know the exact quote, but basically it says, we're all CEO of our own company, and it's the brand called Me Inc.
Really great way to put it. We're going to dive into the OhioHealth brand story, which is a fascinating one. If you had to describe OhioHealth's brand persona or personality in one sentence, so if OhioHealth was a person, what would it be?
So actually, that's an easy answer for me, because right before I left, we were just finishing up a lot of big culture work. Culture's the secret sauce at OhioHealth. And we did this. We did this exercise and research with our associates and physicians and leadership. And where we landed, I'm going to tell you this, OhioHealth is a woman, and she's in a blue dress.
Okay.
Kind of classic but casual, not intimidating. She walks into a party. She talks to everybody. She is listening to everybody. And then the key is she stays around afterwards to help clean up. It's the journey of the engagement with our patients and with our associates. It's the big picture.
How long did it take to get to that persona?
We did a research. It took about 2 or 3 months, and then it was distilling what people were saying and painting the picture.
Yeah. Did you do a series of research?
Well, actually, it was really interesting because we used an organization, Help Us. You go for the experts, and they use a very different research method. They do it through the science of narratology and storytelling. And so it was through all of that they gleaned the commonalities, and that was part of the research. That was just one part.
Yeah. And, I think that our audience may have heard things like persona or the Victoria and Victoria's Secret, but the fact that a hospital system goes through that process as well is some really great advice and guidance.
Well, think about it. Healthcare is super competitive these days, right? And we are fortunate. We live in Central Ohio. We've got strong, great healthcare systems. We've got quality care. But how does OhioHealth stand out differently? Right. And to do that, you have to understand the essence of who you are. You got to know your cake and you got to know your icing.
Oh, cake and icing.
You're right.
So we're going to take things back along OhioHealth's brand evolution journey, looking specifically at 2011, when you created the foundation for the major and influential brand that we see today. And in preparing for this interview, you shared with me this incredible publication, and I'm not so sure that folks can see it, but this was back in the day
when we did publications.
Absolutely, and printing things like this.
Right.
Can you just talk about what this is and why it was so significant during 2011 more specifically?
So we launched the OhioHealth brand in 2011, and it was the theme. The creative theme is Believe in We. And at the time, we had about 16,000 employees. So how do we bring them into the fold and teach them about brand and get them to understand it? Because they're part of the brand. They are the brand.
They are the brand.
And so what what isn't shown in that publication is it was at least 1.5 to 2 years worth of work before we landed on the launch. We did a lot of market research. And what was really interesting is when we did the research with consumers, and you ask unaided questions and aided. When you think of health systems in Central Ohio, who comes to mind? I will tell you that OhioHealth had 0 brand awareness. People knew Riverside and Grant, our major hospitals at the time. And when you pushed them on OhioHealth, they thought it was an insurance company. So the good news was we had nowhere to go but up, right? So that, through all of that work, and to get to the creative campaign, you do a brand pyramid and you define a brand promise. And then you have to bring it to life. And the reality is that our brand, when we launched in 2011, I'd say was 50% real. I mean, like we were living it, but it wasn't all. So it has to be realistic, and it has to be existing today, but it also can be aspirational.
Yeah.
The theme around all of that was systemness. So Dave Blum, the CEO at the time, we had 6 hospitals, and they were all operating as individual hospitals. But he had, and the team had worked on bringing some functions together, bringing some clinical and some administrative. And the goal was to get us all operating as one system. Thus, that led to the Believe in We positioning. And it became the creative part. It took a while. It was weird. When we did the creative execution, we test it with consumers.
Yeah.
There's one focus group that I'll never forget. We were in a focus group. I was behind the glass, and I knew we were going to have a little bit of an issue probably because one of the women in the focus group was a retired English teacher, and that's not exactly the best grammar. And you can tell in the beginning she was, like this and that. And then the moderator pushed back on her because she kept saying it's not grammatically correct and this and that. And it was great. He said, have you ever heard of a campaign called Got Milk? Okay?
You're right.
Right, so we did that. But it was her last comment at the end that actually adjusted our creative execution. She said, okay, I get it. You're trying to be creative and stand out and be differential. But you're a healthcare system, and I'm trusting you with my life sometimes. And I don't want to feel that you're more focused on being creative than in taking care of me. So it really repositioned some of our messaging. But I'm going to tell you one last story. I have a lot of stories, but I knew it was taking hold with our associates when I was in my office and one of my staff members came to me, and she was a photographer in the hospitals, and she always called me by my last name. She walked in, she goes, hey, Jablonski, I got a story for you. I said, what? It sounds like it's going to be a joke. I was up in surgery today, and you're not going to believe what one nurse said to the other nurse, right? So you're looking for a punchline.
Right.
She goes, are you ready for this? I said, Aim, tell me. And she said, that's not very we-like. It was like, oh my God, it's taking hold.
Yes. Yes.
That was a moment when I knew we were hitting the mark.
That is one of the best feelings when you're in brand marketing, right?
Yeah.
They get it.
Yes.
Right? I'm going to read a little bit from this piece. Welcome to the special edition of Upfront. It's all about the OhioHealth brand, the role you play in it, and how we are communicating it to our patients, our associates, physicians, and community. It goes on to talk about the 21,000 physicians, associates, and volunteers who provide care to others or provide support behind the scenes that make it the care that we provide a reality every day. We hope you enjoy learning more about OhioHealth's brand in this issue, seeing the new ways we're sharing it with our community. It's time to tell our story, create the buzz, and be proud of all that we do. It's time to believe in we. What a powerful message, and it's penned from you and Dave Blum at the time, president and CEO.
Right.
Very powerful.
Thank you. And what we wanted to do is make sure that people knew that this brand and the strategy was more than an advertising campaign. And I think the staying power is pretty powerful.
Yeah.
Because in 2025 and in 2026, you will see a lot of Believe in We and in OhioHealth, especially internally.
What a sustainable campaign. I mean, we still see and hear and feel it.
Right. So we have different creative executions on some of our advertising nowadays, but it's all grounded in the concept of we.
Yeah.
And internally, you will see the PowerPoints. You'll see the way people talk. Every time a new hospital is integrated into the system, and we've had a lot of growth over the years, we do a big welcome party.
wow.
We have a giant we that's made out of this giant styrofoam, and all the new associates sign it. And so it's very much alive because it's all about family and joining the OhioHealth family.
Oh, yeah. What advice would you have for someone that either has founded their own brand, maybe they're working for a smaller brand, in terms of how impactful this is or how they could apply something like this in building their brand today?
You need to be deliberate and intentional. So a brand positioning and a brand identity doesn't just happen. And so taking the time to do research on whatever level you can do. It might be just you doing it, right?
Yeah.
Doing some listening sessions with your associates or with your customers and some key questions. You can go on the web and get key questions about identifying your brand.
Yeah.
And then taking the time to process that and what it means. Because more than anything, I think when you have your own company, you have your own vision of what you think it is. And that's good, and you need that. But when you listen, you learn. And it can elevate your story, and it can elevate your strategy.
Great advice. There's one other campaign that I wanted to talk about that I just love as well. It's your Keep Making Plans campaign. It's award-winning. It was launched in 2022, focused on the hospital's cancer care program. And what I love about it is that it shifts this focus during something as significant and impactful to not only an individual, but their family.
Right.
From one of fear to one of hope and resilience and the future. The imagery is amazing. Can you tell us a story or give us some insights into the making of that brand marketing campaign?
That was really fun because we're in a community where we have a lot of competition, a big brand, cancer brand, right? So OhioHealth has got the #1 market position and mind share position overall in healthcare in Central Ohio and the regions that we serve. But when it comes to cancer, we identified that we are a challenger brand. We are challenging somebody who's had a foothold since 1991. Right? And so as we were building and investing in our cancer program, we knew we needed to get that message out there. And so once again, how do you differentiate yourself? A lot of research, not just with consumers, but with physicians, with family members and patients as well. And when we tied it to the overall OhioHealth brand and the belief and trust in us, hope came out. You hit the nail on the head when you said that. There are more people living with cancer these days than ever before. And so a lot of people don't want to be defined by their cancer, and they want the hope, and they want to make the memories.
Yeah.
So how do we capitalize on that? How do we tell those stories, and how can they see themselves? One of the things, the overall messaging and creativity we're super proud of. Very different. If you look at or listen to the TV commercials, very different music. Like, it's not what you see. Most healthcare advertising is you'll see the grateful patient, the clinician, the nurse, the caring, those kind of things. So back when we did Believe in We hit the market with animation and illustration. We wanted to break out of what we call the sea of sameness.
Yeah.
We wanted to do the same with cancer. And at the time, we also, really proud of my team who brought forward a really creative idea. It was the whole Swiftie thing, Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
And, the friendship bracelets.
Yeah.
We have, I don't know, we've probably given out 50 or 60,000. What we did is we Keep Making Plans, friendship bracelets. Didn't have OhioHealth on it. We packaged them 2 at a time with a card that had some of our messaging and said, keep one for yourself and give one to a friend. And that took off viral like you wouldn't believe.
Oh, wow.
And we had them for all of our patients. We sponsor our hockey team in town. So we always do a cancer fight, Hockey Fights Cancer.
Yeah.
So we gave them out there, and we had to reorder. So it was something, again, the connective tissue and getting people to understand we're there for you and with you, and we know you. Yeah.
Well, love that backstory.
Yeah, it's
and
fun.
Congratulations
Thank you.
on that campaign.
Super proud of the team.
We'll share some imagery from it, but it truly is stand out. It really is. Our free throw, rapid fire Q&A.
All right, I'm ready.
Are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's go.
All right. Do you have a morning routine or do you simply wing it?
It's a combination of both. It depends on what's going on for the day. I can tell you the one thing I always do, I always make my bed.
Oh.
Always.
Yeah.
There's a great video about that from a military person. Starts your day off right.
Oh, I agree. What do you prefer, sneakers, flats, or some swanky heels?
Oh, sneakers for sure.
Gotta be comfortable.
Comfort.
Early bird or a night owl?
Early bird.
Gets the worm.
Yep.
To learn something new or get inspired, do you prefer a good book, a podcast, a radio show, or maybe a YouTube video?
So I'd like a combination, but if I have to narrow it down and give you an answer, I would say books and magazines.
Ooh,
There's
magazines.
some great magazines like Fast Company and Inc. I love those.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. What's the brand marketing metric that you checked most often while at OhioHealth?
We're not like a retail point of purchase product. So we always relied on and we always followed were our annual brand study, and brand preference was most important.
What's one song or artist on your playlist right now?
Oh, I love Pink.
Ooh.
She's my favorite.
Ooh, she's just so.
Yeah.
What is your dream brand collaboration?
Apple, because I believe they're with everybody, like they're part of our lives. They're innovative. Imagine if every patient that was discharged had, especially with surgeries and complications, had a watch and had all of their data there and had connection to their doctors and things like that. So they're so connected and innovative and everywhere.
What a vision.
Yeah, it'd be cool.
If you could vacation internationally sometime soon, what country would you venture to?
I'm a big international traveler, and I actually have a trip planned in June, so I'm going to choose that, and it's Italy.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's my official retirement trip.
Oh, my goodness. Have you been?
Yes, twice.
Okay.
But I'm going to a new area. I'm going to Sardinia.
Ooh. Well, you'll have to report back.
I will, absolutely.
I want to delve a little bit more into the business brand growth strategy of OhioHealth, the work that you have done. In the middle of this very stiff competition is just amazing. Can you talk about over time what's been the most effective brand growth lever for OhioHealth? What's been most effective, especially working with patients or your consumers versus what's been most effective with employees and physicians?
So there's some similarities and some differences. I would tell you the overall big picture. I mentioned that culture is the secret sauce at OhioHealth.
Yeah.
Culture is built on experience. So the focus and the intentionality around the patient experience has been critical in helping to drive the business. And then when you think about it in healthcare, we are not marketing a candy bar at the register, right? We're talking about people's health.
Right.
And you might think that at OhioHealth we market heart care and cancer. We don't. Our product is our people. And so how do you engage them? How do you intentionally get them to understand that and really focus on the moments that matter? So that's the feeling part. But then it extended into the moments that matter, doing a lot of customer research, especially today. What are the moments that matter to you as a consumer? Can you get an appointment, right? Is there accessibility? Can you get the care you want, when you want it, where you want it?
Yeah.
So understanding what your needs are and then having the services to meet those needs. So that's where the brand and the business come together. So with our associates and our physicians and people like that, it's that getting them to understand they are the product and they are the brand and they can make a difference. I used to tell people 16 hospitals, right? And I would always be trying to get out to visit and around and just stay in touch with the organization.
Yeah.
And so if I am at Mansfield Hospital and I walk down the hallway and I see a family member or something, and you can tell when someone's feeling lost, right?
Yeah.
I may not know exactly where radiology is, but if I stop and say, hey, because I've got a name badge on, can I help you? And they're like, I'm trying to find radiology. I said, you know what? I don't know where it is, but let me take you to the information desk and they can help you. So that, those moments that matter, I think are really important. So it's culture and engagement, and it's that face-to-face. And then with the patients, it's listening to them, it's understanding their experience, trying to take the friction out of everything. And that's hard. It's really hard. And it's also nowadays more complicated because it differs by generation. As a baby boomer, I think about, my parents who did whatever the doctor asked, you just follow the doctor.
Yeah.
Baby boomer, I'm more involved, but I think about my daughter, who's in her early 40s, and she's got kids and this and that and a busy life, and she's not going to give us a second chance.
Right.
And nowadays, and even think about the younger ones, I have a early 30s friend, and I was talking to him a couple weeks ago, and he thought he had like a strep throat or something. So he went online and opened up his mouth on the camera to show some doctor from who knows where. I'm like, oh my God.
That's how it's going down
right,
these days. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So how do we help deliver on that, the virtual health, and understand those things?
Yeah. So how did you balance long-term brand building with short-term performance? This stuff can take time, and I've been in a position as a CMO where you're looking at the CFO and the CEO, and they're looking for that ROI, right? So how have you been able to balance both? We have this long-term vision. It's going to take a minute to see some return. But at the end of the day, we also are accountable, from a performance perspective. Just how did you balance both?
I would tell you the number one thing that starts is, like I told you, the business strategy should drive all the brand strategy. So never forgetting that. Everything you do in brand should be helping the business strategy. But when you're then dealing with business strategy, so if we're marketing cancer or we're trying to increase visits to our primary care, what's the brand positioning? And so we look at the numbers. Throughout my career, which most of it's been in healthcare, doctors and administrators come and everybody wants an ad campaign. It's like, I want to say to you, I know the answer is a billboard, a TV commercial, and a website, but what's the question, right? And too many times people want it because it's an ego thing or the competitor has it. But if we don't have capacity and I do an ad campaign or I do a digital marketing campaign and I drive people to you and you can't get an appointment for 3 months, I've just driven them to the competitor.
Yeah.
So it's understanding the business and the numbers. Marketing, I've always said, marketing and communications, so many people say, oh, I would love to be on your team. You throw the parties, you do the TV commercials, you do all the events. It's so much fun.
Yeah.
And I said, it is fun. But what you need to know is it's tied to a business strategy.
Yeah.
And so I think always having that integration and knowing how to prioritize. The other thing is knowing the effective channel to reach your customer.
Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Oh, yeah. I can tell you, especially with the regional hospitals, everybody wants billboards. A billboard doesn't drive somebody to your business, right? And so understanding, we're very omni-channel related, what works with digital, why you would use a television commercial, right? Why you might have an event, an educational workshop or something like that. So that is where you really, as the marketer, have to ask the questions of the clinicians, and you have to involve people like your finance team, right, and all of that, and understand it, and then try to show the metrics. Sometimes it's, how do I show an ROI on a billboard, right? But darn, if I can't show you the ROI on a lot of digital.
Yeah. Speaking of which, so in today's world, right, there's this world changes so often, and that's inclusive of what we're seeing with AI and all of the SaaS products and things of that nature to make our work more efficient and better or easier to measure. But can you talk about, your work in today's technology revolution, just things that you were observing as it relates to the impact of AI on your work?
So a lot of discussion about AI, both from the clinical setting as well as in our marketing world. Okay. I have often said, I've been around long enough that I was here before we had the World Wide Web. And I remember in the mid-90s when the World Wide Web came around. And I remember asking somebody, my team in a different organization, I said, go investigate this. Give me a white paper or something on it, just a page or two.
Yeah.
He came back and said, it's a fad. It's going to go away. And I thought, okay, well, I think I need to dig a little deeper.
Yeah.
Don't fight it. It's here, right? And AI has been here. It's just been, what do you think Google was and is? It's basic AI. So understand how to use it and don't abuse it. And you're always going to have the human touch, I believe, in marketing.
Yeah.
So I can say, I need to write a news release about a new cancer program that we're starting. I want to, we've hired somebody or whatever. Throw that into ChatGPT, right? Give them all the facts. They're going to shoot something out, but it's probably not going to have exactly the right tone, or it might miss a fact or this or that, but it gives me a jump start.
Yeah.
And so I think that for jumpstart and creativity, it's going to be there. But the world of marketing now, and I'm watching the curriculum at the universities, data and analytics have to be a part of it. Everything is data-driven. And because we have the ability to get the data, we should now be smarter in what we do.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's talk about team.
Yes.
You've mentioned having a really great one, right? Hallmark of great leadership to be able to retire and leave the work that you have jump-started on your own or that you were working on when you transitioned. I'm sure that there was always something.
Yeah.
But I want to just get inside of your head as it relates to the work that you did building a great winning team. What did you look for specifically when hiring senior leaders or what we call your first draft?
Right, yeah. A number of things. Obviously, they have to have the skills and the experience, to even get to the final consideration. But then I think what gives somebody an edge are a couple qualities I would look for. Resilience, that's key. Change management. Are you a growth and innovator? Innovation thinking. Really key, because healthcare is complex, is are you a dot connector? Can you connect dots? Can you bridge the gap with a physician and an administrator to get them to talk the same language and understand we're on the same team with the same goal? Are you a talent builder? And the other thing that was really important to me and one of my passions is culture. Do you understand culture? And what are you going to do? And what have you done? And how important is it to you? Because in the end, it's all about team. I used to describe my role as I was a mile wide and a foot deep in a bunch of little things. I need people on my team who are a foot wide and a mile deep.
Yeah.
It's up to me to get all that various input when we're coming up with the strategy. Put it in a pot and stir it around and then figure out a direction. So I need people who can help me do that and bring not only their expertise, but leadership. And then the last thing I'd say for healthcare, all leadership, but especially in healthcare, is servant leadership.
Servant leadership, yeah.
Mission-driven, mission-driven.
What advice would you have for individuals, those senior leaders, supporting someone like you in your role? Any words of advice, just given your experience and maybe some pain points that you may have had?
Oh, yeah. I think that the number one thing I would tell you is be curious and don't think that you have all the answers or that you need to have all the answers. Be able to listen, be able to engage people, and then also, and sometimes it takes courage, have a point of view. I think that's critical.
Oh, absolutely.
Don't be a yes person.
Yeah.
I want somebody to disagree with me and challenge me and get me to think differently. We did some work on one of our retreats where we used the concepts of improv, where instead of saying, you give me an idea and I go, yeah, but it's yes and. Build off of it.
What's one lesson that you learned about partnering with the doctors? But not even just them, all of operations, HR leaders, so that everybody is rowing in the same direction. Just any good lessons learned?
Oh, sure. I would tell you, first off, everybody thinks they're a marketer or a communicator because everybody writes their own emails,
Hallelujah.
right?
Yes.
And so I appreciate that.
Yes.
But I would often say to a physician when we talk, I love it because you are the CEO. You know your patients, right?
Yeah.
And so I want to know that. And I'm going to respect that, but I need you to respect that I have some expertise too. And so I think the number one thing, whether it's physicians, HR, finance, right?
Finance.
All of that, they're just looking at the numbers.
Yeah.
One, you have to be able to tell your story. You have to respect that everybody brings a point of view and a talent and a perspective and experience to the table.
Yeah.
And the last thing is, remember, we're all on the same team.
Yeah.
We have the same objective. Let's help each other. So if I'm talking to HR and they've got a strategy and employee engagement, I appreciate that they have me at the table so I can, chime in. And I want them to appreciate that I'm giving them a point of view and maybe think differently.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about fumbles and recoveries. What's one professional misstep that taught you a defining lesson in leadership?
I would tell you this was a fumble and a recovery a couple times over before I figured it out. And I'm not going to get specific on it, but I'm going to tell you bad hires.
Okay.
And I think the lesson learned on that is the same thing on if I had a fumble on a strategy. I fumbled when I didn't trust my gut. And I've said that even as a mom, in my personal life. And I thought about that for a lot. Because that's so squishy, trust your gut, that kind of stuff. But here's what it is. If you've ever had stomach issues and you research it, they will tell you that your stomach, your gut, is your second brain. So think about it. Your gut is fed by your head and your heart. And so when you put that together and listen to it, when you hire somebody, sometimes you have a bunch of people interview, right?
Yeah.
And you're leaning one way, but almost everybody, and it's really difficult. And the one that I have in mind is the CEO was leaning towards somebody different than me on my team.
Yeah.
And this person was going to work with the CEO a bit. So it's okay, 8 months later, that person was no longer with us. I didn't trust my gut. I didn't tell my story to him and explain why I didn't think that was the right hire.
It's one of the most important parts of a job.
It is.
Right? And I think we all have messed up. And even when you're like, sometimes you just never really know, right? Until they get in the role. And but that is really great advice. That I so appreciate that, just trusting your gut, because I've not done that. I've tripped over that as well, and it hopefully you can survive that type of mistake.
Yeah, and I think there's a tangent to that you have to that goes with it, which is sometimes waiting too long to take action. I'm going to work with this person, or I'm going to work the strategy a different angle. Instead of understanding, it's time to cut losses on a strategy or with a person.
Yeah.
And that can be hard to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that's also a part of it.
Let's talk about your next play.
Yes.
So you've retired.
I have.
Right, and I know that you still have a lot of energy and things that you want to do. And so let's talk about your next play. What's in view for you?
So what I've told people is I've retired from OhioHealth. I have not retired from the profession. And now I sit in a position where I can think about the work I want to do, when I want to do it, with whom I want to do it. So how freeing is that? And so I've been able to zero in. I haven't been retired that long, so all my retirement advice that I've read and talked to people, it's the power of the pause when you first retire, okay? don't jump in. Understand that your time is now elastic. It's up to you to figure out how you stretch it in what directions. And the third piece of advice I got was, no matter good intentions of friends, colleagues, peers, whatever, when the word should comes out of their mouth, tune them out. You should get on a board. You should teach. You should write a book. Good ideas, but the power of the pause. So I'm pausing right now, but I'm starting to get some things together. So for example, my passions are communication strategy, branding, leadership development, and culture. So I talked to somebody just last week who has asked me to help plan her leadership retreat in the spring.
Yeah.
That one I know I'm going to do.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I'm talking to somebody else in a different industry who wants to talk after the first of the year about some help with a CEO leadership communication strategy. And it's fascinating because it's something I know nothing about. So I can be curious. So I'm going to do that. I have been on some boards as an official OhioHealth rep. So obviously those have to transition to someone else. So now I'm thinking about where I want to put my efforts. What am I passionate about?
Yeah.
Passionate about literacy.
Okay.
I'm passionate. I love the board I was on most recently, and I chaired their marketing and destination committee, was Experience Columbus in tourism.
Okay.
I've talked to them about how can I stay involved on a committee,
Oh, yeah.
those kind of things.
Oh, yeah.
And I want to balance all of that with things like travel, time with my grandkids, all of those good things. And I'm able to do that now.
I loved, when we were prepping for this conversation, you were heading to New York.
Yes.
Was it
yes.
like the last day or the day after, weekend after your
I
retirement?
retired on Friday, went to New York on Sunday. And I met my friend, and we've been friends since 1979, so over 40 years. And we've traveled a bit together, and we were there for 6 days. And we just laughed and saw shows and did some shopping. And I didn't have to take my computer, and I didn't have to check emails, and I didn't have to worry about what problem was sitting back when I returned.
How did
it was
that...
fabulous. It was wonderful.
I bet it felt strange at first, but then you just enjoy it.
Well, because when you asked me early about my routine, back when I was working full-time, I would wake up, the first thing I did was check my email.
First thing.
Didn't do that. I don't do that.
Yeah.
Which is really, really very freeing and fun.
Oh, absolutely. Because you have some grandkids and lots of family stuff, like you said.
I'm doing something intentional with all my grandkids. So I have a 23-year-old granddaughter. We are doing periodic wine dates. And like yesterday, we went and saw a movie that we both had read the book. So we did that. My 17-year-old grandson, we're doing the pizza trail in Columbus. In fact, tonight I'm picking him up. We're going to go down to Reynoldsburg to a pizza place.
Super fun.
And my 11-year-old grandson has said he wants to learn to cook and bake. We've been baking and cooking, and he's so fun. And the line Chase will tell you is that, because he kind of makes a mess sometimes, when you're measuring the flour and that. I go, Chase, you're not a good baker if you're not making a mess. It's okay.
It's okay.
So it's fun to do that.
Oh, it all sounds fun. And everybody loves different things.
Yes.
And what a great way to connect with you.
Yeah, I'm very blessed, very blessed.
Sue, thank you so much. This truly has been a masterclass for individuals working in healthcare, but really any industry. And I can't thank you enough. Any parting words of advice for the team?
So yes, and I'm going to keep it generic and not specific to marketing. It's more about like leadership in any career at any stage. Years ago, I was giving a talk out in Iowa at the University of Iowa Medical Center, and somebody asked me, do you have a philosophy on life and marketing? Well, that wasn't what I thought somebody was going to ask me. I don't know where I pulled this, but since the 90s, it has become my mantra.
Okay.
And I know if you're a younger person, you might have to Google this. But you need to be Gumby-like. You ready? You need to be able to twist and turn and bend, but you cannot break, and you must have fun. We all spend too much time at our jobs. They're a big part of who we are. And so being able to keep that mindset is what keeps it really fresh and exciting and keeps you learning and curious.
Keep learning, stay curious, and have fun.
Absolutely.
Great parting words of advice. Thank you so very much.
Thank you for having me. I enjoyed it.
Thank you. Thank you for listening and watching. We want to thank our presenting sponsor, the Columbus Chamber of Commerce, Brainstorm Media, and Kylie Lovesy Design. Listen and watch wherever you get your podcasts, and visit us online at herbusinessplaybook.com.